Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Hello, hello.
Guess it is afternoon on East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, in Spain, it's 6. The folks in India, I think they just had dinner, so.
Yeah, it's 10:30 here, 10:30 p.m.
Awesome. We'll try to not put you to sleep. Hello, awesome to see some faces. Feel free to put the camera, it's less lonely. So we are all remote, but we don't need to be sad because of it.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Perfect. I hope that everyone is able to see my screen. I see some nodding. Thanks for confirming. Okay, now I can see you all. Perfect. So let's get started. Thank you very, very much to everyone for coming. It's great to see new faces. It's great to see new names. And it's also great to see folks that have been with us already for a few meetings and for a few questions already in the super channel. But in any case, welcome everyone to the first community meeting of the year. Hope that you'll have as much fun as we have been having with OpenMetadata. And you know, this meeting is for you, so don't be shy. Put your cameras, raise your voices. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, we're here for you. And the first thing that we like to show in these meetings is actually how our community is doing. So we already have 136 open source developers, which is awesome. We've been having a lot of great contributions in the past few weeks. We're going to also show them later. We are as well to the road of 2K stars in GitHub. So for those of you that haven't started the project yet, go to GitHub, just share a bit your love, and whoever reaches the 2,000, I guess that will feel very good. We also have 190 new members in Slack, as you know, and for those that don't know yet, we have an open Slack for you folks to just join in. We have the super channel if you have any questions, any issues. We have also a place for you to ask for feature requests. So that's the best way for you to interact with the OpenMetadata team. And the last piece of community growth is these 106 new people that have joined in any other platform, be it Twitter, be it Meetup, and LinkedIn. Then, as we were seeing, some amazing community contributions that we've had. Mark-Jan has helped us with some documentation fixes to set up the IntelliJ local environment. Mosiek has also been helping us with some issues in the pagination for users. This one I really liked here. Cory kind of just jumped into the pool. They had a specific requirement to make OpenMetadata work for them. We didn't have an issue for that. They just went on, changed the code, opened the PR, and now it's there to help on their use case. So if you are in that position, there's not an issue open, there's not specific description for something that you are facing, but still you'd like to collaborate, just please go for it. We are more than happy to see this kind of contributions as well. We also have here Steve Russo that helped us integrate the Databricks pipeline connectors. We already had a way to extract tables from catalogs and so on, but now we're also capable to get the jobs as pipelines into OpenMetadata. And Martí here also gave us a hand in improving the SQL column lineage for the query parsing. So thank you all. If you want to be featured here, just knock on our GitHub tour, open APR. We are more than happy to have you. And if you need some help in getting the environment ready, you have some questions on how to get started, we are here to help you on that as well. Now, that being said, what's the agenda for the rest of the meeting? We'll start with some 0.13.2 release highlights. So this is the new release that we are planning to roll out on next Wednesday. And now this is the chance for us to kind of explain to you what the team has been cooking. And once we have that done, we've put aside some time to explain to you and kind of do a bit of a deep dive on how you can create and how you can set up your own custom connectors into OpenMetadata. This is actually a feature that we released a while ago, but lately we have been having some questions around the topic, and we thought that what a better opportunity to share this than in a community meeting. Also, if at some point you'd like to just join these community meetings and kind of explain your use cases and explain your experiences with OpenMetadata, this is also the place for you. So we are reaching out to some of the folks that we know that have been working with OpenMetadata for some time in case that they want to have a spotlight here. But if we have not reached out to you yet and you'd like to use this as a platform also to share your experiences with the rest of people, just reach out to anyone on the OpenMetadata team, and we would be more than happy to set aside a few minutes for you to explain how you are setting OpenMetadata or how this is helping into your use cases. Now, how is the 0.13.2 release looking? So we have a bunch of fixes as well as a bunch of new features and improvements. And now we're just going to go one by one, kind of trying to show you what's the motivation behind those changes and giving you a bit of a taste so that you're as excited as we are for this new release that's coming out next week. The first is that we are improving a lot our SQL Lineage parsing. So I don't know if some of you already had the chance to join on our Lineage webinar, but if you have not, just to give you 2 cents on one of the ways that we are extracting Lineage is by analyzing SQL queries, be it the DDL of a table or be it because we are also parsing the query history, be it from BigQuery, Snowflake, or Redshift. Then the tool that we were using before to actually get all of this information is this awesome project, this open source library called SQL Lineage. And basically what it does, it's able to get the query, tokenize it into smaller pieces, and then try to identify what's the lineage relationship of the tables that are interacting in that query. That has been working awesomely, and we have been already talking with the builder, the developer of this library, and we are working together into releasing a new improvement, a new way that we are parsing these queries. Because the issue that we have seen and that you have actually been giving us this feedback for some time is that for specific dialects, specific keywords, the core part of the parsing logic of this library was not really able to understand some of these keywords. So we have actually been working on to kind of joining this SQL Fluff library together with SQL Lineage to actually improve the parsing capabilities. So in 0.13.2, we are going to release this first version, and we're going to keep working with the SQL Lineage authors to keep improving and improving and improving until our query parsing coverage goes through the roof. Other improvements that we're putting here is actually a new UI for the glossary. So this is how this looked in previous versions. We had this tree view on the left, and basically here you could search for the different terms for the different glossaries and just keep navigating the tree to extract all of that information, which we understand can get a bit messy if the number of glossaries, the number of assets improves a lot. So what we're doing here is separating how you can search for glossaries and how you can search for specific terms. So on the left-hand panel, now you're going to be able to see what are all of the glossaries. And then each of the terms, it's going to be shown here, sorted alphabetically, and you are also going to be able to see the description or the tags, which is going to make the discoverability of these terms a tad more easier for folks who spend a lot of time playing around with the glossary. The rest of the views are going to be the same. You will still have the summary. We will still have the related assets. We are just improving the user experience on how you can navigate and how you can find that specific term that you're looking for. Continuing with glossary updates, we have also worked in an import and export functionality for you to say, well, I already have a bunch of terms here in my glossary. I just want to get them in CSV, store them, or do any kind of processing that you want into them. You can now export these files directly from the UI. But most importantly, some of you are saying, well, I already have some glossaries here and there, and I just want to do all of these changes and import in a batch together in OpenMetadata, rather than having to create all of the terms by one. So here, the UI team has been doing an amazing job, and we are going to roll out this capability where directly with the UI, you're going to be able to select a CSV file with some formats and examples that we're going to be also sharing with you folks later, so that there are no issues and there are no holes in how to settle of this process. But basically, you will be able to upload the CSV file, validate what are the results that are going to be generated similar to what you're seeing in the screen. And finally, all of these terms that are from within the glossary are going to appear in OpenMetadata together with the rest of them. So this is super, super exciting for us, folks. If you try this out, you have some feedback, as always with new features, do let us know what do you like, what you don't like, and we can keep improving this based on your comments. More things on glossaries and more things on tags is that in past releases, maybe you don't know because we were actually hiding this a bit in the backend, was that we introduced that now tags and glossary terms can be mutually exclusive. What this means is that, for example, let's suppose that I'm tagging a table to be PII sensitive. It would not really make sense for me to tag it again as PII not sensitive, right? You are either one or the other. So this is actually now a characteristic that you can add as well for tags and glossary terms that you are creating directly in the UI, just to make sure that all of these governance steps, all of these definitions are way, way more closer to reality. And last update on tags and glossaries, I promise this is the last one, is that we have been doing some changes into the API structure for the tag category. So before we were talking about groups of tags as tag category, but in the industry, there's another term that it's a bit more widely used, which is classification. So we actually took this chance of this renaming to not only change the name of how we are referring to this group of tags, but we are also unifying the API structure so that it's much more similar to the rest of APIs that we have for tables, services, users, and so on. So yeah, that's basically the change. If you need more specific details on what's the migration from one of the APIs to the new one, you can see here all of the details in the issue. And the final piece of improvements that we'd like to share here today is on the Ingestion Framework. So on the one hand, we closed all of the pending work on the Datalake profiler. So as you know, when you are preparing the profiler workflow, you can choose how much of data you want to get from each of the tables in order to be profiled. And that's pretty useful if we have super big, huge tables that might either hang the process or go into very big expenses if we are working with BigQuery or with Snowflake. So we had a piece of work pending here with the Datalake profiler, which was to actually enable this row count profiler sample type. We already had the percentage, and now we have both of them. And finally, in terms of the connectors, we have enabled the thick mode on Oracle, as well as adding some fixes on the data types and how they were actually responding to the profiler and some of the queries that were running in there. We have shipped in 0.13.2 some fixes into AWS QuickSight, as well as some improvements on DB2 constraints, as well as, again, some queries and some metrics computation improvements on the profiler, as well as added the capability to ingest foreign tables in Postgres. And last piece, super happy to share this one. It's something that it's not going to be part of 0.13.2, but something that we want to ship and we want to show to you very, very soon, which is an OpenMetadata Chrome extension. So the idea behind this is that whenever you're exploring some tools directly in Chrome, be it Superset, be Tableau, any of these dashboard tools that are directly embedded into your browser, the OpenMetadata Chrome extension is going to be just side by side to you and help you not only see how dashboards and how all of this information is showing up in the tool itself, but how you and your team are also collaborating and giving all of the extra details and information and descriptions and tags and all of these collaboration goodies that you get from OpenMetadata. So we are going to set aside another presentation and another formal launch for you folks, but we just wanted to get you excited on this already. We are doing the finishing touches, and we are really looking forward into shipping this out. And that would be it for today on our side. That would be it for the highlights. That would be it for the demo. Thank you very, very much to everyone for coming. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, any comments, we have some time, and this is for you. So please don't be shy.
If you have any questions, just unmute yourself, ask it.
Hi, this is Nidhi. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is regarding the tag propagation. Say I have a tag at a parent object. Can that be propagated like automatically to all the children in the hierarchy?
Suresh, you want to pick up this one?
No, so the one that Pere is talking about is connectors, right? For collecting metadata from the sources and ingesting that into OpenMetadata. In terms of tag propagation, now that our column lineage is getting more solid, we have had it for a couple of releases. We will start building tools which will automatically do that for you. You don't need to write a connector, right? So the example that Pere is giving is how to ingest the metadata from various sources. These ones are workflows that take the metadata that already exists in OpenMetadata and then make use of it to do certain things. In your case, tag exists on source table, automatically it gets propagated into the destination tables, destination columns. These are some things that we will build it ourselves. You would not need a separate connector. But as Pere was giving an example, if you want to build it yourself, you could also do it, except that you will be connecting to OpenMetadata, and then you'll be writing back to OpenMetadata.
Okay, so this functionality is something that will come later. It doesn't exist today, right? That's what you're saying?
It doesn't exist today. There is a lot of automation that we have on our roadmap to build. Tag propagation, description propagation is one of them.
Okay. What about the ownership? I mean, if I have an ownership, say, for example, at a database level, can that be propagated, or that will also come in later?
Yeah, so we have right now in 0.13.2, if you set up ownership at a database schema level, all the tables will inherit that ownership unless you change it, right? Manually.
That is perfect. Okay.
Yeah, the problem that we were seeing was people keep adding new tables to the database schema, right? And these new tables don't have owners. So now it inherits from its higher, from the hierarchy above. So database schema, owner is propagated to table, database ownership is propagated to database schema. And this is true for, many hierarchical objects that we have in our system.
Okay. Okay. This was one of our requests, and I think you guys have fulfilled that.
We added it because, because of your input.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, just a
Awesome.
shout out to Open Metadata team. You guys have been awesome, in supporting me and my team. So I'm really very, very thankful. And we are actually using Open Metadata. Now it's official. So very, very, great thanks to Suresh and Harsha and Pere and all the people who helped us with my lots and lots of questions that keep coming up, So super appreciated.
No, I think, questions are very important for us. Also, if you have feature ideas, if something is confusing, the documentation is not clear, together as a community, with your feedback, we can continuously improve this. So feel free to just provide us any feedback. Don't hold it back.
I'm not holding back. I'm giving you more feedback.
No, this is for, even rest of the communities. Please follow Nidhi's footsteps. Provide us feedback, any ideas you have.
There's one thing from my side. Hi, this is Leila from Move. And firstly, I would really like to thank the team, Suresh, Harsha, and Ayush, and Teddy, who are just being very supportive and constantly reply me for all my queries. And I'm very happy to know this, that in the coming release, we would be having this bulk glossary update option. With the help of CSV, we would be able to do that. So I'm really happy for that. And there's just one more suggestion, in the glossary section for defining the term ownership, which is available for the domain, I can assign the ownership for the first definition in my hierarchy. Can we have ownership at the lower level for the terms as well?
Yeah, so this is something that I was thinking when I was doing ownership propagation. If this makes sense, that terms under glossary will have different ownership, we will just add it. It's a fairly quick change for us.
Okay. Thank you so much.
We'll add that. I think you have a nice issue created around the glossaries. I think if this is not there, just add it, and we'll add that. It should be fairly easy for us.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we also do the same thing where if you have glossary owner, and if you create a glossary term without owner, automatically the ownership will get propagated. Just like we are propagating reviewers to the terms being added, we'll do that as well.
Right. This is already a part of one of our feature requests, but I'll recheck it if this needs to be highlighted there. Thank you.
Welcome.
Suresh,
I think there was one question from P. Armstrong. I don't know, Armstrong.
Hi, yeah, it's Phil. There's a question about nested data sets. So if I've got something like Cosmos DB, which has got like a JSON structure with lots of nested stuff in there, is that just a slightly different way of handling your columns? Do you have some sort of path or something with your columns?
We support today nested structures, but Harsha, we don't support JSON schema associated with it.
Yeah, this is about the NoSQL data sources support. So this is, we are actually looking into it. Most probably will be, we are shooting for 1.0 earlier, but depending on the roadmap, we might be pushing it to 1.1, but we'll try to get it in 1.0. So with these changes, we'll not only support NoSQL, but Elasticsearch, any other JSON models like services, you may have API definitions. Those are all can be, indexed into OpenMetadata and Discover and all the options that you already see.
Yeah, we have had lots of rain in California, and our team in the California has been sort of like distracted. So hopefully we'll, now that the rain is, subsiding, we'll start, building more features faster and start making progress.
Good stuff. Thanks.
Nidhi, sorry, I cut you off. Nidhi, you had some question?
Yes, she wanted to know when 0.13.2 release was happening from the chat.
Yeah, just put my question in the chat, Suresh. Just wanted to find out when is this release coming up, 13.2?
Actually, this is a question for you.
We just called the code freeze on that. So our development is done. We will be doing a 1 week of testing. Earliest we will be shooting is 30th, Jan 30th as a release. But most of the work that needs to be done is already done. So we'll be doing some testing and documentation and other things and ship it out.
Okay.
And are we going to do a preview release? And if anybody wants to test it out, help us out in testing, that would be great, right?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll be putting it by Monday, a beta version of the 13.2. And that'll, please give it a try and let us know, especially if you file a ticket that you're expecting. It'll be great for you to test it out and give us a feedback. So we'll have that feedback week for the next week, and we'll address any comments that might come in that time frame.
And don't get too excited and upgrade your production system, please.
Yeah, definitely not the productions.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. So if we don't have any more questions, apologies, we are 5 minutes late. But well, the excitement waits the afternoon, I guess. So thank you again, everyone, for joining. It was super awesome to see you folks. So any questions that you have, just feel free to reach out in Slack. Any ideas, open a FIA to request. If you are brave enough, open a PR. We love seeing those. So please don't keep anything to yourselves. We're here to help, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.